Hey, it's Jen, and today I'm talking about how you can use your urges to actually become stronger. What? Hey, today we're at the rental and I brought you here so that I could show you my urge jar. And my urge jar, oh, it sounds a little scandalous, doesn't it? Urges have a little bit of a scandalous reputation, but we're going to be talking about urges in the context that there are things that we're giving authority to that don't actually deserve it. Now, when we have a thought of something that we really want to do, and we respond to it without even questioning it, whether or not it goes along with our long term goals, whether it's good for us or not, if we are just giving in and not thinking twice about them, we have an urge. We have an urge issue. And so, this is how to get the prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of judgment and managing impulses. We're going to engage that as an authority in our lives so that the urges don't keep running amok like a bunch of purple minions inside our brains and sabotaging our best efforts. All right, so I'm just going to share with you how I use this urge jar. And it's Brooke Castillo's idea. She's amazing, and I will take on any challenge that she offers. And she offered the challenge of having an urge jar. And this is where you get an empty jar. And every time you allow an urge without giving into it, without resisting it, without like resisting is fighting, this is going to make fighting not necessary. Without distracting from it or without reacting to it by giving in, then when you've done that 100 times, you have probably established your authority again where that urge is concerned. The urge I chose was I have a love for Luna and Larry's Coconut Bliss chocolate walnut brownie. Yum. All right. And my mouth is just watering thinking about it. I really like this stuff. Try it. No, don't try it. All right. So I chose just to have it one time a week, one portion at a time, and it just established that rule for myself. And I was doing awesome. I decided to keep it in the house along with my favorite Lint orange, intense orange candy bar, all my favorite treats, because I want to be able to be around them without giving into an urge. This isn't about forgetting that they exist. I want to just attack the desire at the base, because if I don't have a desire to have it anymore, then I don't have to fight against anything if I don't want to give into it anymore, right? Remember the times that you have been in a supermarket with a toddler and they really, really want a candy bar. And you know that you had already told them before we went in, we're going to get treats on Saturday. Today we're just in here for this thing. But they still said, I want that candy bar. All right. So at this point, we have the choice to either give in and say it's not worth it, or to go ahead and stick with what we originally said. Now, a child does not have an authority over a parent, right? They are the authority figures. And so this child represents an urge. And when the urge doesn't get its way, it can tantrum. And in the grocery store, it's them kicking and screaming on the ground. If it's an urge inside, it's making us feel very uncomfortable, like we need to respond. We get that urgent feeling that we need to do something about this. Whether or not we're aware about it, that's that feeling that I just can't stop thinking about that coconut bliss, that Luna and Larry's in the freezer. Okay, so if we don't respond to it, it's probably going to get louder. We can expect that. Now, resisting it would be us turning around and hollering back. No, I told you we're not getting it today. Reacting to it would be fine. Here is the candy bar. And then distracting from it is just plugging our ears. All right. Allowing it is just waiting it out and being okay. It's all right. We get that feeling of urgency. We get that feeling like we want the child to stop. But if we just hang in there, they work through it. If we just hang in there, we work through it, and those sensations eventually go away. But if we allow them, it's not reinforcing that poor behavior of a tantrum, because that's what an urge is doing. It's pitching a fit. And when we give into it, we are reinforcing that fit. The fit feels uncomfortable. It feels miserable. All right? But if you want to try out doing an urge jar, guess what? The fit lessens and it eventually goes away so that you can pass by the freezer, think about the Luna and Larry's, and be okay because that uncomfortable feeling doesn't rise up inside anymore. It's replaced by a peaceful, calm, managed feeling because it's figured out you're not going to give in to the tantrum. So this is how you establish authority over an urge. One of the reasons this works is because every time we want something, we have a desire for something, and then we achieve it, it gives us a little hit of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that feels so good. And when we get it, we get that little hit. Now, if you are really, really aware, you'll start to figure out how that hit feels, and you'll start to see it other times. And for instance, this is kind of like a naughty little one. Like when we gossip, be so aware, feel it. There is a little dopamine hit. And when we achieve something, dopamine hit. Okay, the cool thing is that when we put another pebble in the jar, it's a little dopamine hit. We've replaced it with something that serves us. So when our brain, when we don't think to question what's going on, we don't have the opportunity to choose which things we're going to give authority to. All right, here's a small example of what happened while I was doing my experiment. I had decided that I wasn't going to eat, I told you the rules. I was only going to eat it one day, one portion at a time. And then I got sick. And the next day I'm like, gosh, I haven't been able to eat. So I need calories. No matter how I can get them, I better eat them. And so I went straight to the freezer and ate my ice cream. And didn't even question it. Like, I didn't even realize that I had gone against it because it felt so legit. I didn't even question it. And it's like the mind does this thing. This is not the thought you're looking for. Don't pay attention to this. This is not ice cream. This doesn't count, is what it was telling me. And I would really like to be able to make that choice. I want to be aware. I want to have a well-managed mind. And I know that by practicing in one area, like ice cream, it's going to benefit me in other areas that urges show up. Other areas may be when I have an urge to have the last word. Like, obviously, someone is mistaken and I really need to set them straight, right? That's when I get an urge. Maybe I have an urge to gossip. Maybe I have an urge to lash out. And when I develop the skill of questioning a thought that's coming through, stopping it at the door and saying, hold on, do you belong here? Are you going to serve my purposes? Then it goes across all areas. So here's what I noticed in my life. I could pass by the ice cream and be fine. I don't even feel like that urgent feeling inside to eat it, okay? When I have the tendency, okay, there was an irritating little thought that was bothering me yesterday. And I thought, I need to set that person straight. And it felt very important. But I had work to do. And I had put it on my list that my work was going to get done first before I attended to any other thing. And this little thought, this urgent little thought kept coming up saying, you need to do something about this right now. And the skill that I got from allowing the urges with the ice cream carried over into this because it was the exact same feeling. And I was able to say, actually, you can tend to that tonight after work, but until then, it's not your turn. And the urgency went away. And I know that without having done the urge jar, it would have bugged me and I probably would have given in and just gotten it over with so that I could think, right? But this was me saying, no, this is how it's going to go down. All right? It works, you guys. I hope you get an experience of being able to do an urge jar if it will serve you. If you have an issue of some urges in your life that feel so important and so legit that you find that you're not even questioning them anymore, it's the perfect time to become aware. Awareness is the first step. If you would like some help, give me a call. I love doing this kind of thing. I've done it myself, and I can't tell you how much better it feels being able to be with something that used to demand attention and to be able to feel perfectly calm and still, no matter what it is. It's possible. You can do it. Go for it. Good luck.